Newcastle United need no bad press right now. So what goes and happens? Bad press. Matt Ritchie involved in a bust-up with Steve Bruce. And for me, it was only a matter of time before one of the players actually snapped and lost the temper with this guy. This is the Toon Review. Hi everyone, I'm Paul, back again with another video at the Toon Review, and today I'm just basically wanting to talk about what's going on at the training ground, what's in all the newspaper reports at the moment, and that's the falling out between Matt Ritchie and Steve Bruce. Now, as I said in the intro there, for me, this was always going to happen. It was always going to break out some kind of disagreement between player and manager, and it just so happens that Matt Ritchie is the one that's actually snapped because he was thrown under the bus after the game against Wolves. We said after the game, you know, the comments by Steve Bruce may come to bite him in the arse, and at the moment, it's happening. Now, Matt Ritchie is one of the popular players in the squad. There is no doubt about that. He's one of the most passionate in the squad as well. And now, he's fallen out with Steve Bruce big style, and it's made the press. Now, they can talk, they can try and cover it up as much as they want. They can try and say nothing's happened, etc. It's all water under the bridge, it's dealt with, but it won't be. Because this has gone on for a long time now. Steve Bruce has thrown his players under the bus many times, and now it really has come to bite him in the arse. Now, where do we go from here, you ask? I don't actually know. You know, we're in a relegation crisis. We've got an injury-hit squad, and we need our players to be on peak motivation, peak form, and go out there very, very confident, especially on Sunday against West Brom. Are we going to get that now? I'm not so sure. Because the players will stand by Matt Ritchie, there is no doubt about it, because, like I said, he's one of the most popular players in the dressing room. And whether he hasn't or has been in the squad recently doesn't really matter. This is between the players and the management now, and the manager has clearly lost the plot. I've mentioned this quite a few times about Steve Bruce, that I thought he was starting to lose it. You know, a lot of people think that during his press conferences, the guy has lost the plot. And for me, this is just confirmation that it's happened. And slowly and slowly and slowly, it will start to unravel itself till it all kicks off again. You know, Steve Bruce never ever takes any responsibility for anything that happens at the club. He is always throwing the players under the bus. If it's not the players, it's the fans. You know, so it's anything but Steve Bruce. And now the man has been found out. And at last, one of the players has decided to stand up to him and say enough's enough. And the way Matt Ritchie was thrown under the bus on Sunday, I don't blame him at all for having a word with the manager. Why would I? You know, it was just going to happen. And this is why this man needs to leave the club immediately. To give us any chance of staying up, any chance of a relegation fight, this manager must leave Newcastle United. And I've said it for weeks now. Loads of other people have said it on Twitter, on Facebook, YouTube, whatever it may be. We want that man gone. He is poisoning the club, you know, more than Mike Ashley's done in recent weeks, to be honest. Steve Bruce has been the headline that we haven't wanted to see. But yet again, he's there making the wrong sort of headlines for our club, and pundits will still back him. Pundits will say, oh, well, it's the players' fault. They shouldn't do this and they shouldn't do that. They've had enough. And if the hierarchy at Newcastle can't see that, then we have a massive, massive problem. You know, Matt Ritchie has been one of the most committed, passionate players that we have had at Newcastle United in quite some time. You know, this guy, every time he steps on the pitch, is given 110%. Now, whether we all still think he's good enough or not is irrelevant. What is relevant is the fact that he is being treated disgustingly by the manager. And the players have just had enough. You know, we know that Lascelles wasn't happy on Sunday because he said it in front of the cameras. Now, what is going on in that Newcastle dressing room, we can only think about what's going on in there. We don't know. But what's coming out in the media lately is a big, big problem at Newcastle United. And the big, big problem that needs removed is Steve Bruce. He needs to go, and he needs to go now. Even before the West Brom game. He needs to go. He needs eradicated from the club, and the club need to move on. You know, galvanise this squad in the meantime between now and West Brom or wherever it may be. But don't let this man control this team anymore, because enough is enough. You know, Matt Ritchie obviously had some sort of falling out with Steve Bruce in the transfer window when all the Bournemouth stuff kicked off. He wasn't allowed to go. Now, something's obviously happened there. Because he's very rarely been seen, has he, in the squad since then? And now he's been thrown under the bus. Longstaff's fallen out. You know, come on. You know, this is enough. You know, we are a club that takes pride in the badge, that takes pride in the shirt, takes pride in our city. And this man is destroying it. Absolutely destroying it. He has no respect for the media anymore. He's got no respect for the fans. And he's got hardly any respect for the players that are supposed to turn up week in, week out for him and play 90 minutes of football. It's not going to happen. This man is a poison. He's the worst manager we've ever had at Newcastle United. Now, whether you think there's worse tactical managers, etc., fair enough. But an all-round manager, this man is the worst we have ever had. Because of the disregard he shows for the fans, the disregard he has for the club, and the disregard he has for some of our longest-serving players who have given their all to this club. It's a disgrace, and he needs to be gone. So, Mike Ashley and Charlie need to come to a really conclusive decision here. You know, Mike Ashley would talk about the millions he's going to lose if we go down. But also, the mentality and the stability of the club that Steve Bruce is just tearing apart because he's so arrogant is just unbelievable. This man's arrogance just serves nobody but himself. He seems to think the more arrogant he can be, the better off he is with everybody else. Showing he's the big man at the club. Well, he's not. He's a small little fly who needs stood on and destroyed and out of the club. I don't care if Graham Jones gets appointed for the rest of the season. I'm not bothered, because I know for a fact, whatever the management credentials of Graham Jones, he will galvanise the dressing room. And when you're in a relegation fight, you need to be strong together. And that squad is not together because of the manager. So let me know what you think in the comments below about the whole bust-up, how it will affect the squad, where do we go moving from here? Do you think that the man needs removing straight away, even before the West Brom game? Let me know in the comments below. There'll be a preview of the West Brom game coming out very shortly as well. So 2 videos today, and also a live stream later on, Thursday night with Paul and Holly. So that should be a cracking, a lot to get through in that show as well. But leave a comment, let me know what you think. If you like the video, do hit that like button. And if you're new to the channel, please do consider subscribing. Lots of football on here. And I'll catch you on the preview. Take care.
Be strong.